And just coming back again, a couple of the questions we've asked seem generic, but I'm keenly interested as well in this play on what's unique and different, because you talked for example on a marketing, and I'm keenly interested on what and how this product design piece has come to the fore, and what does that mean? Is that a different way of looking at anthropology? Is it because the world has changed? Is it because product designers are developing it more intrinsically based on evidence? What's the drivers for it becoming a topical?
You mean the anthropology side of it?
Yeah.
Well, actually, what happened a number of years ago, and it really got started at the Stanford D School, and then evolved into IDEO, which has offices all over. Design thinking is really the what we're talking about in this particular case. I mean, design is bigger than design thinking, but the area that I'm focusing on when we're talking sort of in the realm of marketing is design thinking. But it's not only in marketing; it could be designing an organization, designing floor space, and it could be designing really anything. But design thinking early on was very interested in a couple of things. One of them was actually talking to human beings. So human-centered design, focusing on people. So starting, it's interesting for those of us in marketing, and that includes the three of us and maybe some people that attend to this kind of discussion. We've always started with the people. It seems to me, I'm always fascinated when I read an article that's published by someone from the marketing world that says, what we need to do? We need to first listen to the customer. And you want to say, well, wait a minute, people have been doing that for decades in marketing and in many other areas as well. So designers seem to like that idea. And they said, we have to talk to human beings and we have to make our designs more about what humans need, whether they know it or not. And so that was one part of it. Another part of it is the concept of empathy, which is really in the wind. We talk about cancel culture. Well, another side of what's happening in terms of a cultural current is this rise of empathy, at least a discussion of it. And so a part of it was the fact, I think it really started to take off probably around the time that Trump was elected, because people felt that he lacked empathy. And some people feel that Joe Biden's strength in winning was that he exhibited empathy, or to a large degree. But it's been around as a concern for people in design for much longer than that. And when they talk about empathy, what they mean is, again, going back to the human being and the whole process, understanding what they're thinking and feeling from their point of view, not from yours, which is a critical part of what anthropologists do too. We always try to understand what the subject or respondent or native's point of view is, rather than our own, so we can see how they see the world. Well, that's used in design and by good marketers. And then along the way, with all of that, the third piece of this is doing ethnography. And they talk a lot about ethnography. They talk about ethnography more than anthropology. And what they mean by ethnography is they often conflate it with just doing interviews. But what we're really talking about is in use on-site interviews, doing them the way I've been describing them, where people work, play, shop, etc. And so designers really get a better understanding of how a designer fits into people's lives, and they start developing empathy. And of course, then it's all human-centered if they can use something like ethnography as a tool. So that's where the value has been manifested of the kind of anthropology that we're talking about, specifically the methodological side.